an interesting, because I get this question a lot, and I'm sure you do as well. And the question is, will you follow through to prosecute all those who perjured themselves in the Benghazi investigation? People will ask me, well, why don't you guys just prosecute Lois Lerner? Why don't you prosecute this people? Why is that not the way that we would really think about it?
Yeah, that question is the reason that my mom would no longer allow politics to be discussed at Thanksgiving. Last Thanksgiving, my father, who by the way is a medical doctor and is really, really smart on matters of civics, he just asked me at the table, when are you going to prosecute fill in the blank? And my response was always, Dad, that was my old job. That's an executive branch function. Legislators can't convene a grand jury. Legislators can't offer immunity agreements within the context of criminal prosecution. I can't take someone in front of a judge. I can't convene a petit jury and try someone. All of that is done by the executive branch. So last night when Ron and I were together, my message to the audience was simple. If you want to fundamentally transform the direction of this country, you have to have the executive branch. That is who investigates, that is who prosecutes. When I was at AUSA, I worked for the executive branch. When I was a district attorney, I worked for the executive branch. I am now in the legislative branch. And as much as I would love to go back to my old job and get 12 of you, fair I'm sure, but 12 of you, in a jury box and try to convince you that somebody has violated part of our criminal code, that is not anything I can do now. So if you want to see that done, then you should work as hard as you can at the local, state, and federal level to make sure you control that branch of government that controls investigations and enforcement. The Founding Fathers did not tell the legislative branch to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. That is the responsibility of the executive branch. And I get the frustration. I get it. And the frustration is so palpable that you say, well, if they're not doing it, we need you to do it. I'm not sure that's the remedy you want. I think what you want is them to do their job rather than the legislative branch doing something that we're not empowered to do.
I think that having an understanding of that is, and I wish that, maybe Trey was making these decisions when we dealt with Lois Lerner. So what we did with Lois Lerner in the House was held her in contempt for the stunt she was pulling, not coming forward with information, what have you. The problem with that is that it goes to the Justice Department for prosecution. Did they prosecute it? Of course not. So that's why when I look at the IRS, what I think we should have done, we have two core powers, power of the purse and the power of impeaching civil officers. So the power of the purse, that was one thing we actually used on the IRS. Congress cut funding for the IRS last year. Guess what? All they did was take it out of customer service. So taxpayers are calling to get their help with their taxes. No one was answering the phone. It didn't hurt the bureaucracy at all. So it was the right thing to do, but it didn't have its intended effects. And that's why I think when you have somebody like the IRS commissioner who's stonewalling the Congress and the American people, our only other remedy, because we don't have criminal prosecutorial authority, we have the impeachment check where we can impeach the IRS commissioner and remove him from office without it ever affecting the executive branch. It's all done within the Congress. So that's really the check we have to deal with wayward bureaucrats and people who are not following the law. And we tried to do the thing with the contempt, and it really wasted a lot of time. I mean, we waited a year for that to happen, and then here we are. We knew all along they weren't going to end up following through with it.
I would add one other remedy to that. Ron is exactly right. The power of the purse, which we underutilize as one of the tools that our founders gave us. I would argue to you that impeachment is a punishment. Impeachment is a punishment for someone either not acknowledging their duty or breaching that duty. If your objective is to get the person to do what they are supposed to do, the ultimate remedy, the ultimate genius of our founders is every 2 years, you have a chance to totally flip the House of Representatives. Every 4 years, you have a chance to change who the chief executive is, and the ultimate remedy, the ultimate political remedy lies in your hands every bit as much as it does ours. Appropriations and impeachment, yes, to us. Fundamentally changing the people that you send, put in positions of leadership, belongs to you every 2 years.